attending my talk. While all of you guys are physically here listening to my talk, I bet you all have two to three things going on in your mind that are completely unrelated to this talk. So in other words, your mind is multitasking. So 2 hands, 1 mind. What exactly does this mean? You have 2 hands, so naturally you should be able to perform 2 tasks at once, right? You have multiple ideas, multiple tasks, but you only have 1 mind. We often have several things planned for one day and are required to complete all of it. Some examples include homework, studying for tests, extracurriculars, etc. I often find that when I have a lot to do, even when I'm trying to complete my math homework, I'm thinking about my science test. When I finally get to studying for the science test, I'm thinking about my English homework. So just like me, everyone is subject to this. It is commonplace to, although be trying to do one task, have your mind on another. In other words, you are multitasking. Multitasking is defined as trying to perform multiple things at once. So as enticing as performing multiple things at once sounds, it actually has way more consequences than benefits. Even if we are actively working on one task, our brain is pondering about another task. Thinking about multiple things at once ruins or reduces your ability to focus on one particular task. This overall results in lower efficiency and also results in low quality work. And also, studies have shown that your brain only has a limited amount of energy at a given time. Trying to perform multiple actions at once actually depletes that energy much quicker. So instead of doing several things at once, you should focus on trying to do one task at a time. So you start on something and then you complete it before moving on to your other task. You focus on one task at a time, and that allows you to finish higher quality work in a shorter span of time. So then if multitasking poses so many problems and it is so evident, why do we humans resort to it so often? When we have multiple things on our plate, we try to fulfill as much as we can in as short of a time as possible. We focus on quantity rather than quality. If we stick to a task for even more than 5 minutes, our own guilty conscience reminds us time and again that we have several things to do and so we should be moving on. So that's what we do. We jump from one task to another. Another reason is when we take too much on ourselves, we tend to worry about how we will get everything done. And so our own guilty conscience once again keeps disturbing us and our focus continues to dwindle. When completing one task, the guilty conscience is what abates our focus and at the same time reduces our efficiency and quality of our work. Interestingly enough though, although that tension might be a trigger factor to multitasking, as I already stated before, that people tend to worry and that's why they have that guilty conscience and that's why they tend to multitask. Multitasking is actually a very common reason for increased stress levels. So multitasking might be caused by worrying, but multitasking actually causes more tension or more stress due to the amount of pressure multitasking adds to an individual's brain. So then what are the solutions? I faced this problem on a daily basis throughout my middle school and to my second semester of high school, and I finally came up with a solution: monotasking. Monotasking means that you focus on only one thing at once. You pretend as if nothing else exists in the world except that task, and you give that task your full attention. Which task do you focus on? So if you have a list of tasks, you have to prioritize your list of tasks, and whichever one you decide on, you focus solely on that one task for a given time frame, say 1 hour. Do not think of anything else during this 1 hour. After that time frame, you move on to your next task. Do not ponder over that previous task you were just doing anymore. Focus all your attention on the current thing you're trying to complete. So overall, monotasking would cause less distraction, which would cause less stress, which would result in a higher productivity rate, and which would produce much higher quality work. I'm going to end with this quote that accurately defines what multitasking is to me. Multitasking, the act of messing up several things at once. Let's try to avoid it as much as possible and leave multitasking to the multi-core computers. Thank you for listening.